collection of reactions to I don't know what everyone loves about Herbert and I'm afraid to ask.
He's got a beautiful smile.
I just had to check again after reading this. Fucking amazing.
He's averaging almost 5 YPC. He's not a top RB on the level of CMC or Derrick Henry, but he's a very good option to have. If you have a chance to add a top guy, which we will given the cap space available, you do it, but Herbert as your second guy is one of the best twos in a 1-2 punch in the entire league.
Nailed it. He is valuable in a RBBC situation.
Both of you beat me to it. He gets good chunks of yardage. I feel like he does his best work when the D has been beaten down by another HB. He's a great RBBC option but not an elite option.
To add on to all of your points, he only gets around 11 carries a game. Give him 20 with the same 4.8 YPC and his stats look a lot better.
Seriously, dude is averaging nearly 5 YPC, is it really that confusing why people like how he plays?
I think he's fine, a replacement level RB. He probably could be more productive if there was some semblance of a passing game.
He could probably be more productive if he could run, block and catch passes. He's a really good runner of the ball, but that's it. It makes the offense one-dimensional when he's out there, and that's a big part of why he's getting 130 touches instead of 300. Everyone here quotes his YPC as if that makes him player great, but go look at Gus Edwards for another guy who can sustain a high YPC but still will never dominate touches. To your point, Herbert is just replacement level because he's limited and predictable.
He's a good complement back but can't hold the RB room by himself like others. He's need complementary players along him to be effective. I do believe Poles will be drafting a RB in the 3 to 4 RD range this year to compete with Herbert.
I agree. I think he's decent as part of a committee, but we should add a guy with top-end speed to go with Herbert and Johnson.
Are you joking? 4.2 YPC, 5.7, 4.6. Very good numbers. You can't only look at yards or touchdowns, LMAO.
When he's on the field, I feel like he is certainly not the worst starting RB in the league. Didn't he lead the league in YPC last year? I personally feel like he's a very above average RB too.
After Monty got hurt last season, he filled the shoes just as well. RBs are a dime a dozen. Even if he doesn't work out, it's not like getting another guy will be too hard.
They need a true 3-down back who can pass block. I like them as a committee, but it seems inefficient.
Paying a 3-down back isn't worth it. The dollars spent elsewhere are a better ROI.
Herbert is a lot better in terms of production than a lot of other guys. He was also injured just as he was starting to get hot this year, and by the time he was back the look of our RB room had changed. I still think he's worth keeping around for a while, even on a second contract if it's cheap. He's reliable and he improved in blocking and catching at least to what my untrained eye could see this past year, which I know had been a point against him previously. Also, I'm a Virginia Tech fan and seeing him on the team makes me happy, but that's obviously a little personal bias.
I mean, 4.9 yards per carry average on his career is pretty high. I think he's a very solid change of pace back. I don't think he's a starter currently though. He needs to improve in pass protection and receiving if he is going to be a starter. I think Roscon might develop into a starter if he develops a bit better patience/vision. I think RB is a need, but more a luxury need than our others. I think signing a big name RB like Saquon would be a mistake. Draft would make more sense to me. And if that fails, there isn't a good value RB on the board at any time when we pick. Sign a vet like we did with Foreman this year and ride it out with Rashawn and Khalil.